Rashad Bateman breakout season, and there's a chance for you to call in to the Purple Rain podcast. Yes, welcome back to episode 242 of the Purple Rain podcast. The Dorian Brew episode, the Lorenzo Neal episode, the Patrick Ricard episode, the Jerome Sapp episode, the Anthony Mitchell, father of current Raven Keith Mitchell episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Thank you all for coming through to this episode. We very, very much appreciate it. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast, like you see right here down below, Purple Rain podcast. You follow this guy on Instagram, on X at Sutton Death. Follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on X at simplyas10. And most importantly, our sponsor, Manscaped. It is definitely getting the time where it's going to be warmer out. We're in the 70s consistently now. We'll be the 80s soon. With that being said, I'm going to keep yourself groomed up. Go and get yourself something nice. Actually, my boys texted me this week. He's like, yo, what should I get from Manscaped? I'm like, bro, lawnmower. Never going to do you wrong. It's always a good and safe buy. Go in there, use code PRP, 20% off your whole order and free entire shipping. With that being said, it is Friday Eve, Mr. Sutton. How are we doing? How was your week?
Yeah, Friday Eve. Happy Friday Eve. Shout out to my guy K-Dog. I see him in the chat already in full effect here. Purple Rain Pioneer. Love him. But I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. It's been a good week. The weather's been slightly better this week than a couple weeks prior. But I'm really excited to talk about and I know my guy Thea Pennell, he put in the chat already. He doesn't want to talk about Rashad Bateman anymore because we've been talking about Rashad Bateman every single season since he's been in the league. Is he actually going to emerge as the Ravens wide receiver one, or hell, even a bona fide wide receiver two? We don't know yet, but there's been some new stuff coming out, of course, after him getting his contract. There's been kind of like a new new life breathed into the Rashad Bateman agenda, especially for me. I can say so. I'm excited to get into that, and I'm excited to actually take some live callers on this episode as well. So this is actually the first episode ever of the Purple Rain podcast where that's right, you, the Rain Gang, can actually call in live to the show. And here's how it's going to work. The instructions will be down below in the little ticker you guys see, and it'll also be in the description. But let me just tell you. So if you want to join the show live, right, you're going to have to follow us on Instagram, okay, at the Purple Rain podcast. It's all over the screen. You guys can see it. And you're going to have to DM us with your age, name, and location. We will screen the DMs and we'll send you a link to add you to a queue to come and join the show. You'll have a 5-minute spot to ask Alex and myself, or a question. If you want to get something off your chest, a statement about the Ravens or something like that, let us know. And by the way, your question, it doesn't have to be about the Ravens specifically. It could really be about anything. But of course, we are a Ravens YouTube channel, so we're here for that always. So with that being said, this is episode 202 of the Purple Rain podcast. Thank each and every one of you for joining. If you're watching live right now, or if you're part of the hashtag replay gang, yes, big shouts out to you, big hearts to you. We want to make sure you like the video. Of course, we got to get that out of the way. A couple housekeeping things, right? Liking the video, especially in the off season, helps our channel out just tremendously, right? So just go ahead and like the video for us if you wouldn't mind. And then also subscribe to the channel as well if you're new and you're enjoying the content. If you've watched us a few episodes, you're kind of on the fence on whether or not to just subscribe. Listen, it only heats up from here. I know we're in the kind of the dead of the off season, but in the months coming, there's going to be more signings. I'm still looking at that Justin Simmons signing, Alex. I know you were mentioning that a couple episodes ago. That's definitely on my radar now. I think we have that coming down the turnpike, and a couple other things too. So stay locked into the Purple Rain podcast YouTube channel. And most importantly, if you want to join the show, make sure you read those instructions down below so you can join us. We're going to take about 2 or 3 callers tonight, and we're going to see how it goes. We're going to go from there. So let's go ahead and bring in who we have here in the live chat. We got my guy Taquan Christian in the house. Says, what's up, Rain Gang? Sutton and Alex. What's going on, brother? We got Mod Boz in the house. What's going on, Boz? Says, yo, Rain Gang, what's going on? Yes, sir. Subscribe or else. You got it. You got it. Zico Kage is in the building. Says, Purple Rain, what's good? We got my guy Dre here as well. Says, what's up, Purple Rain Gang? What's going on, fellas? Tanja Bowman in
Yeah,
the house
Boz
says,
thinks he's slick
yeah.
with that profile picture. You think you're
What
fun.
is that?
You think you're so
What
fun.
was that?
It's Patrick Queen. It's Patrick Queen.
Okay.
You think you're so funny. You think you're
Yeah.
so funny.
Oh, Boz.
Wound is still fresh. Wound is gonna be fresh for the next 3 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And the wound is going to be like severely split open the first time we play the Steelers, which is week what again? Remind me, Alex.
Week 5, I think. Is it week 5? I don't even know. I haven't even memorized my schedule yet. I can look it up.
Yeah, me neither. Somebody let us know, or Alex is going to look it up too. But I definitely think that first Steelers game is going to hit different. Not just because it's a Steelers Ravens game, but because one of our star linebackers is now literally like a linebacker too, defensive player, and like at a that is so coveted in the AFC North, let alone in this rivalry, Steelers versus Ravens. Week 11 is the first time we play the Steelers. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, that's gonna hit different. It's gonna be kind of later in the season too. Whew, I'm excited for that one. Oz, get ready, get ready. Quoney's in the building. Says, "What's up, gang? What's going on, Quoney?"
What's going on?
And of course, Mod K Dog gave him the shout out. That's our guy. Who else we got in here? Cupid the God. What's going on? Cupid says, yes, sir. Like up the stream. You already know what it is. All love chat right now. We love that. We love that. Okay. So, Alex, like we led the show off with the whole Rashad Bateman thing, right? It's been on my mind as a Rashad Bateman truther. I know you are as well. We've had this conversation numerous times on this podcast. I mean, what can we really expect from a Rashad Bateman going into the 2024 season, right? So we're coming off basically a full season of him being healthy, right? But just not really getting the football. And I said this 365 some odd days ago, right? And we were sitting in the same position in the offseason. There's only one football that can go around. And we know that there's weapons on this, on this receiving core now. So where does Rashad Bateman kind of fall in the wide receiving totem pole, especially after receiving this contract that extends him through 2026? Alex, what do you think about that?
Okay. I'm glad you brought this up because I've been doing a lot of thinking, unfortunately. And I feel even last year, the signing of Odell Beckham Jr. hindered Rashad Bateman's progression, his development, you could say. What Rashad Bateman does very well, intermediate short routes, kind of is what Odell was doing. Kind of took over all of that. And we had to force feed him and kind of, give him those because you're paying him how much money? 16 mil. So I think we were asking Rashad Bateman to do things he's mainly not his forte at. And unfortunately had a pretty mediocre year. I think he'd say the same thing as well. But I'm so intrigued by this year because reports coming out of camp, he's been running those, intermediate routes. He's been that guy where it's the on-time plays that he's so good at. He's making those, and he'll be able to make those plays in the regular season. And paired up with Isaiah Flowers, and I think with the emergence of Isaiah Likely too, I think can really help him out. And obviously Mark Andrews will, he'll get double teamed. But I think we'll see more one-on-ones with Bateman, which I'm hoping, which why I have all the confidence in the world and him staying healthy. He's at the OTAs. He's there every single day, even when Lamar isn't, even when this guy, that guy isn't, but he's there. I don't think we saw that years prior, and the biggest thing, he's healthy. So I'm going to sit here. I'm going to stand behind Rashad Bateman. I think over 750 receiving yards he'll have, 5 or 6 tutties. I think right there, that's a pretty good season for him. I'm taking into fact we lost Odell. We lost his catches, which I think was like 30 or 40 something. And I think Bateman has more of a burst than Odell. We all can agree that. We saw it. And I think he'll make more guys miss. Yeah, I don't think 750 is a crazy number for him if this offense progresses from last year. So that's my take on Bateman. Yes, I 100% think of a breakout year. What do you think?
A breakout season, I'm hopeful for it. I mean, the only reason why I lack even a little bit of hope in him having a breakout season is just the mere fact that we have Lamar Jackson as quarterback. Let me explain. So, not to say that Lamar Jackson, is not a good distributor of the football. I mean, we've seen him hit what 6, 7 different receivers in the first quarter in certain games, in his career. But with the Rashad Bateman, I just kind of question whether or not Lamar Jackson really trusts him, especially under duress, right? Especially going into this season with a shaky, questionable offensive line. Lamar Jackson is probably going to have to do a little bit more dancing around than usual. I think that most of us will probably agree with that, especially early on in the season while that offensive line has to gel. So when you are under duress, and this is for anybody, right? When you're under pressure, you always resort back to what you know most, right? And what you're best at, right? And for Lamar, that going to Mark Andrews. For Lamar, that's finding Zay Flowers wherever he may be. I don't know if Lamar Jackson really has, Rashad Bateman at the forefront of his mind when, shit breaks down and he needs, to make something happen. Right. So,
Yeah.
like, I'll give you a scenario, Alex. So let's say you're Lamar Jackson, right? And we have 33 seconds left in a second quarter, right? We're down 3. We are on our own 37-yard line. Okay. We draw up a play where we have Rashad Bateman on the outside. He's the X receiver on this play. He's on a go route, right? And this is against coverage. It's a single high safety, right? Let's say it's 2nd and 6, right? They're expecting a run to try to throw them off or something like that. They throw single high safety in the box. You got Derrick Henry behind you. Rashad Bateman's on a go route, but you also have Mark Andrews on like a deep crossing route, right? If Mark Andrews gets the ball, if you get the ball to him, he's going to catch it. He's going to go out of bounds. You're even better field goal range, that sort of thing. And it's a safe throw, right? More reliable pass catcher is Mark Andrews, obviously. If you are Lamar Jackson in that situation, Rashad Bateman has one-on-one on the outside because the good thing, if you throw a shot and he's open, he gets a step, that might be a touchdown. What would you do in that situation? Who are you throwing it to?
I'm throwing to Mark Andrews.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. And I think Lamar Jackson will make that exact same decision. And that is the reason why I think that, Rashad Bateman, he's going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. You're going to see a lot of all 22 footage of Rashad Bateman getting open, burning his man, no matter who it is checking him, and him not getting the look. Because Lamar Jackson simply wants to go to a Mark Andrews. He wants to go to a Zay Flowers. Rashad Bateman, unless he's just butt fuck open, right? And excuse my language, I don't think that Lamar Jackson is going to prioritize trying to get him the football. You know what I mean? So that's just what I think. That's my worry. That's my concern. Is it valid?
I couldn't disagree with you there because it is valid, because it was on the film all of last year, was it not? Was there many times where even in the Chiefs game, Lamar even said himself he needed one more second, he's going to throw one up to Bateman, but it was still missed. There was a time he even cooked L'Jarius Sneed on the right-hand side. We're going this way towards the end zone. I have the play in my head. I'm seeing it. He cooked L'Jarius Sneed, has a couple of steps on him, wasn't looked at. And it's either a big play or 6 right there. And there was, other plays where he was just beating his guy, just not looked that way. And that's honestly kind of, I think, one of our biggest keys that we have to fix this training camp is getting that just chemistry down, getting that together. If we can get that together, it opens up a whole new area of this offense. I saw your tweet. Rashad Bateman breakout year does wonders for this offense, and I 100% agree with you, because you'd have a guy in Zay Flowers who damn near put up 1,000 last year in his rookie year. You have a guy like Bateman putting up great numbers, along with Isaiah Likely, who showed he can be a tight end 1. And you have Mark Andrews, who is a top 2 tight end when healthy. And the question marks left is the line. And then you have Nelson Aguilar, who is a serviceable number 3, who I thought played above expectations last year. So I think you're 100% right. That is, if it weren't to happen, that would be the reason. And I think it'd be between Zay and Mark are the only 2 guys who I think in that situation you go to Zay over Mark Andrews, but it's only if Zay has the guy beat very early.
Yeah.
But I think Mark Andrews is always getting that ball. And then I just want to pull up, Odell had 35 catches for 565 yards last year and 3 touchdowns. So which is why I think if things do go right, I can definitely see that 700 to 750 mark getting hit. because I think Bate had over 300 last year. So I know Odell missed a couple of games, but it's just kind of getting that chemistry down. And I would love to see them all, really gel and have a full training camp and just have a great year together.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. And, like you were kind of alluding to there, those targets that are going to be void from Odell Beckham Jr. should definitely go to Rashad Bateman by default. Like he deserves those targets. And if you just kind of look at simple allocation of resources, I mean, we just paid him, right? You got to get him the ball more. You got to see what he's doing. Oh yeah, by the way, he was a first round pick too. So you have to get a return on investment out of this guy at this point. I mean, we're at the point of no return when it comes to Rashad Bateman. We have him through 2026, right? Like something has got to shake with Rashad Bateman. So we'll see. I want to bring up this comment here from Yolanda from Ravenswood.
Okay.
A shout out to her. She says, we need to run more 2 tight end sets because Likely has proven himself. And see, here's another thing, Alex. I mean, Isaiah Likely, with the emergence of him, his confidence went through the roof. Unfortunately, Mark Andrews got hurt right last year.
Yep.
But after Mark Andrews got hurt, that was the birth of Isaiah Likely. That was his coming out party, basically. So I assume that Todd Monken is going to want to get him involved a lot more as well. So with the addition of him, who's another big body, we know Lamar Jackson loves throwing in bigger bodies. I just don't really know how many targets we can realistically expect. Oh yeah, by the way, Derrick Henry's in the backfield too now, right?
Yeah.
So I just don't know how many targets we can really come to expect for Rashad Bateman. Here's what I'll say. Rashad Bateman, he's going to have to make the most out of his targets this season. Like he's going to have to fight for every single football. You know what I mean? Like he has to be fearless going over the middle. Has to do whatever they ask him to do. Of course, he's been a willing blocker. We can give him his props on that. He's definitely been a willing blocker in his career. But he's going to have to make the most. He's going to have to make guys miss. The yak is going to have to be there for Rashad Bateman this season, period. That's it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I do want to bring up one more comment while we're talking about Isaiah Likely. It was from K-Dog. Actually, 2 of them. He said, Bateman himself said he was blindsided by the extension, but feels love. This could be his first full healthy season. Let's show that cat some love. And so let's talk about Monken taking responsibility and saying that now this offense has even more wrinkles. That's correct. And then Brandon saying, I have to wait after preseason to see who's going to have a breakout year. That also is a great point as well because, knock on wood, healthy stuff. He did go down during a training camp his rookie year. Was out for the first 6 weeks. So I 100% agree with you there. But I do want to talk about Bateman just a little bit more. I pulled up the 2021 NFL draft, right? And that was a draft we picked him. I just want to kind of name off some receivers, and we'll talk about them, all right? So Jamar Chase, he went first. Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, Kadarius Toney, and then Bateman was drafted. Some other guys that were in this draft that, you might know their name, Nico Collins, maybe an Amon-Ra St. Brown, if you've ever heard of him. So guys like that, and you kind of go through these guys and they're like, all right, well, they're getting paid. How much did Amon-Ra could just get paid? Nico Collins got how much? Oh, Jalen Waddle, 3 years, $84 million. Bateman, 3 for 15. So I look at that, and I think, and he talked about it himself, like he wasn't expecting this, but I think he can make the most out of these next 3 years. He has 3 good years. You can be making that type of money. Like he is set up right now, and then he'll be in his prime for the next contract. I'm really hoping he gets that big contract because I think it's set up for him. It's set up for him to have a really good year and good years to come. He'll be with Zay. He'll be with Lamar. He'll be with Isaiah Likely. He'll be with Mark Andrews. We have this core of the offense locked down. Let's go and do something with it. Dre says, everybody has to be extremely sure-handed. We didn't get a lot of production from OBJ, but he was probably our most consistent pass catcher last year. I think he dropped maybe 1 pass. Yeah, you are true there.
But Bateman didn't really drop passes either, though, did he? I don't think he really had too many drops.
That Pittsburgh game, that's the only one that comes to my head.
Yeah. Okay.
The touchdown. That's the only drop I remember.
I'd have to go back and watch that one. I have to go back.
Right,
I know that was a bad game for drops. We had a couple drops that game, if I remember correctly.
He had 9, I think, in one game.
Jeez, a couple, right? What am I talking about? Yeah.
And then,
I don't know.
And then Lamar was still the highest grade quarterback. he was still the highest
Mm,
graded quarterback that week, having 8 or 9 drop passes.
insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Okay. All right. So yeah, Bateman, hopefully he can get it together, and well, not even just him getting it together, because he's already, he's getting open. He's burning dudes, like I said, no matter who it is. He was burning uh um who was it? L'Jarius Sneed, right? In the
Yep.
AFC Championship game.
Yep.
It's just, you know, we have to get him more involved. And I think Todd Monken understands that. He said that in his press conference. Rashad Bateman has, kind of rededicated himself. And I think that he kind of feels, because I think he was on the fence. He did say he didn't expect, right? He didn't expect for the Ravens to pull this move. But I think that with the Ravens doing this, it kind of tells Rashad Bateman, like, hey, man, we know we've underutilized you. We know you've been hurt, and we know you were a first round pick. So we expected more out of you to this point. But, we still believe in you, and we want you on board as a Raven for the long run. So we're going to resign you, even though we haven't gotten like first round return on investment out of you just yet. We still believe that you can give us that. So yeah, we're going to give us another chance. We'll give you another chance, sort of thing. And it
Yep.
all works out for both parties. So I'm really excited about that. Okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and open it up to some live callers here. A couple of you have DM'd already, and I've sent out an invite or two. So, if you're backstage, you can go ahead and accept the invite. We'll bring you up. You can ask your question. Again, you have to give us your age, name, location for the viewers here, and yeah, we'll go from there. Like I said, it's a 5-minute spot. Okay. So
Ooh,
while we wait, Alex, and Yolanda says yay to the
yes.
live callers. Absolutely. Yeah, you can come join us. You can come join us. This is kind of a new thing. This is the very first episode we've ever done this. We've never done this before, right? So this is, you guys are witnessing history right now. We think it should be fun.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah. Yeah. So other things, I know there was an update on Ojabo, right, Alex?
Yeah, there was. Let me pull it up. Good old Johnny Harbs gave us an update on Mr. Ojabo. Let me pull it up. Basically, it's the fact that they're kind of ramping him up. He had that knee surgery, and I believe they're kind of just gonna let him just kind of do stuff off on the side, and then I think training camp is when he'll start to get ramped up. Which, I mean, they're taking it slow, which I do appreciate. They're not going to rush him back, which unfortunately, we have a little bit of a history of doing that. But he'll likely graduate to teamwork during training camp. He's been participating in individual work after having knee surgery, so that's promising. Hopefully, we can get a full 17 games of David Ajabo and not 2 games. Would be
Yeah.
very nice for our former second round pick.
Yeah, man. I mean, with the fact that we lost to Jadeveon Clowney, right, to uh Carolina, it's really gonna put an emphasis on our younger defensive ends. And that being, of course, a David Ojabo, and of course an Odafe Owe, who I've heard has been terrorizing in OTAs. Just it's an annual thing at this point, right? But one of those guys literally has to step up, or our defense might be in trouble this season. I will say that. We benefited greatly from having. I think we were top what in sacks that season.
Fair one, triple
Oh
crown,
yeah, right, right,
triple
yeah.
fucking crown.
Led the league in sacks last season. That was a huge reason why we made it as far as we did in the playoffs. Like that was a huge reason why we were able to clinch the #1 seed. If we cannot hold a candle to that those sack numbers from last season, is gonna be tough for us to get back to the AFC Championship game. I'm gonna say that right here and now. It's gonna be very, very tough if we cannot get some of these talented ass quarterbacks on the turf or on the grass. I mean, it's just there's too much talent, especially in the AFC. These guys are really good at escaping. You need guys who can finish plays. So Adafe Owe, I'm looking at you. I mean, Ojabo, when he gets healthy and ready to go, I'm looking at him. It's gonna be mm, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
And there's even, when I think about getting to the quarterback, I think there's a play in the Super Bowl. I think Purdy had a guy for a touchdown, and there's Chris Jones up the middle, and just kind of just destructed the play, and it wiped a touchdown off the board for San Francisco. Who's that going to be for us this year? Me personally, I think it's Justin Madubuike. He just got paid, just coming off a 13-sack year. But you need more help. You need somebody else to do it. Casey has Karlaftis who can make something out of nothing. And you look at the Niners. They had Chase Young, they had what was his name from the Broncos, Randy Gregory, and they had Nick Bosa. So we have a Van Noy who we brought back who had a good year, but who else? Is it going to be Owe? Is it going to be Ojabo? It's going to be both. It's going to be Tavius Robinson. It's going to be Adisa Isaac from Penn State. Who is it going to be? These are all questions that will be answered hopefully, and I just don't want us to be week 8, week 9 being like, well, who's on the street? Is it going to be Jason Pierre-Paul we're signing to help this pass rush? Is it going to be this guy? Oh well, are we going to trade for this pass rusher because we aren't getting any production? I don't want it to be that. I want our guys to step up and do their thing and not be in that pass rush trade debacle debate in October, November.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Roosh.
Mod Roosh is in the building. What's going on, Roosh? I will say as well, you brought up Tavius Robinson. I'm actually very excited to see Tavius Robinson in the preseason. I want to see what he does, like coming right out of the gate. I'm sure I'm going to hear some good things about him coming out of training camp too, especially since I think he ended the season strong last year. I think he deserves an opportunity to kind of step up and see what really made out of, especially from a beginning of a regular season from the start. So we'll see. You mentioned Adisa Isaac, a guy. I mean, him and Owe. Don't want to mention the whole Twinions thing again, right? But like, hope maybe they'll have some sort of synergy or sort of friendly competition going on to where they can start getting some sacks. I mean, I'm really looking at Owe now because he's been with us for some years, and it's just like, everything that we heard about him coming out of Penn State is kind of still true to this day. He does a lot of things well, and that's why he's able to stay on the field, and we appreciate him for that. But in a division and in a conference where you have so many guys who are edge rushers who can get these guys on the ground from, like your even just within our division with the Myles Garretts and the TJ Watts and all those guys, like we need a guy like that. We have to be able to compete. Literally, you have to go band for band when it comes to these positions. That's one of the premium positions in the NFL, defensive end that being. So yeah, it's gonna be rough for our pass rush, I'll say, because I don't really see Justin Madubuike, getting 12.5 sacks or whatever it was again. I think that kind of regresses a little bit, especially with teams, kind of catching on to, especially after his deal, right? And watching tape on what he did last season, teams are definitely going to be trying to come after him a little bit more and allocate a little bit more protection against him. So maybe that will open up the edge, right? But we'll see. Who knows? Alex, one more thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up this really quick because I forgot to mention it earlier, and I'll put it on the screen here for our viewers. But Nate Wiggins having high praise for Rashad Bateman. I just wanted to touch on this really quick. This is something that I saw today that had me like elated because he was asked, Nate Wiggins was asked in a press conference. They asked him, hey, so far, who's been the hardest wide receiver on the Ravens that you've had to cover? And he says Rashad Bateman because he's just super shifty and, there's a lot of quickness in his routes, things like that. And, he was also asked who's the most fun to cover. And he says Zay Flowers because they have history. They're both fast, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But man, I like Yolanda says here, we love to hear that about Bateman because we're just, I like, as a Bateman truther, this just fills me up. What did you think when you heard this?
Dude, give me all the Bateman praise as much as you can. I love seeing it and hearing this, from Wiggins. It's good to hear, but we don't want to sit here and give up. I love him, but I don't want to sit here and give him the Prochet treatment. And when the pads aren't on, he's the greatest player alive. But we have seen when the pads are on with Bateman, he's made his plays, and this is good to hear. From a guy like Nate Wiggins who the Ravens, just highly regarded. There's a reason why we didn't, trade that 30 pick to take him. We really liked him. So it's just promising to hear, very promising. And hearing him talk about Zay and Bateman like that, it fills my heart with joy. And this is just cheers to them for putting up, crazy good years and us going back to the AFC Championship and winning this time. So I'm glad you brought this up. Yeah, like you said, give me all the Bateman hype I can get. I'm gonna drink it up, and it's just gonna fill me up.
Yeah. There was also a tweet put out by, I think it was Kyle Phoenix, one of the Ravens beat writers.
Yes,
He was
yes,
saying he was absent today from OTAs. I actually wanted to share that as well. Hold for a second while I bring that up on screen. Because there
okay,
was a
yeah,
couple of notable absences from it. And of course, it's just OTAs, guys. So of course, we're not going to put too much stock into it. But
yeah.
it's something though, because some of these guys are already a little bit banged up. Have you heard about any, any of these guys being banged up already?
So Keaton, obviously, that's really
Oh
he's
yeah,
there. No, he might not be. He was there last week, but I think he put some on Instagram. He was on vacation. Bo Braid is banged up. The undrafted safety from
yeah,
Maryland. I know he's banged up.
Maryland, yeah.
Um, I'm not gonna put. I know he said Deontay Hardy had a baby. Lamar's doing side quests. He's in NASCAR and all this. Um,
He's doing side quests.
yeah, Trayvon Mullen, is he real? Lamar Jackson's cousin. Have we seen him in a Ravens uniform? Because we signed him and then he gets his release. We signed him back. He's out for the year
Yeah.
last year. But I'll be honest, I don't think any of them were actually hurt. It would just be, I think Bo Braid is the only one. Or actually, no, Adisa Isaac, he said had something small. So I go Isaac and Bo Braid. Only two guys, I think, who had something wrong. I word
Okay.
wise.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I just wanted to share that just because, like when we're at this point in the off season, it is always interesting to see like who is banged up like already. It's like, bro,
Yeah.
like we haven't even really gotten started yet. So you kind of know what to expect going into training camp. Okay, who's got something kind of lingering for a while and that sort of thing. So that's the only reason to bring that up. But we do have our first caller backstage here. We're gonna go ahead and bring him up here in just a moment. Again, this is the first episode, the very first episode of the Purple Rain podcast, where we have had live callers call into the show and kind of give us their questions, give us their opinions on things. We think it's going to be a lot of fun. So without any further ado, right? I think my guy Cupid is ready. My guy Cupid is backstage here. We're going to go ahead and bring him up here. He's going to
Hey,
be our very first live caller here on the Purple Rain podcast. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Hey, Cupid, what's going
what's
on,
going on,
bro? Can you hear
Cupid?
us?
Oh, we cannot hear the
Yo,
mic. Muting the mic.
I think the
Cannot
mic
hear.
might still be muted, bro. Yeah, I
Mic's
can't hear
muted.
you.
Yeah, can't hear.
Oh man,
Oh, I hate to see it.
it's
Hate
all
to see
good.
it.
Happens. It's got to happen the first time around, right?
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, yeah, we can hear you. You sound like a little
We
bit
can hear you.
muffled and like kind of a little staticky, but we can hear you.
Oh yeah, it's part of my headphones. I don't really got a good headset right now.
You're cool. You're
Oh,
cool.
good.
What's going on, Cupid? Welcome to the
Good.
show.
What's good? We chilling. I'm hyped for this season. Derrick Henry about to go off. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I see him on the Mark
yeah.
Andrews jersey, number one.
Oh yeah.
Derrick Henry, how many yards we thinking?
I'm thinking he could hit 2K again. Like he next to Lamar. This is the first time he's running behind a top offensive line. Like
2K,
and also
Cupid.
no hit drop tackle. The no hit drop tackle. How you tackling that man? How you tackling that man?
Ooh, I forgot
DH2K
about that.
with Patrick Ricard in
I
front of him.
forgot about that.
Mm,
Yeah, but
That too.
you see what he's saying? I like the hip drop tackle.
the hip drop tackle.
Yeah.
And if you do, it's 15 yards. So tack that on.
So really what
Exactly.
I'm thinking here is that like, Derrick Henry, you either have to hit him high or you're gonna get ran over, or you have to hit him super low. You literally have to like fall down and just trip him up. Because if you try to like go low and try to grab him by the waist as he's coming through the hole and try to like use your weight to drag him down, they might call that for a penalty, automatic first down. So I don't know, man. I didn't consider that until just now. That's a good point, man.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But even if he doesn't hit
I
the
mean,
2,000 in the rushing yards, I think he has on time for the 2,000 in the rushing yards with the added penalty yards, at least, at the very least.
Okay. Wow. Could you imagine a 2,000-yard rusher for the Ravens? Derrick Henry. That's 13 wins, I think, if he runs for 2K. That's a really good year, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Because last year, the Titans, they were ranked bottom 5 in run blocking, and he was still top 2 in rushing yards, coming off of the injury season.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about. Go ahead, Alex.
I'm just worried about he's 31 now. I mean, that's the only thing that scares me, just the age. That's it.
Yeah.
See, I get that, but in my opinion, I feel like you can't start thinking about that until we see the regression. Like, we haven't seen no regression from Derrick Henry yet. So.
That's a good point too. We don't want to be looking over the hill too early. No, I get that. But what other bold prediction you got for the season, Cupid? Let us know.
I think we going at least 12-5, but my prediction is 15-2. I think we lose to Steelers once and Browns once. I think we beat everybody else. Nobody else can really hang with us. Outside of the Chiefs, but we got them week 1. That's the only reason why I say we definitely beat them, because it's week 1, and I just know we like that week 1. Like, when's the last time we even lost in the week 1? I don't even remember.
That the Raiders game. The Raiders game.
Yeah.
That was
2 years ago.
That was at Villanueva.
Oh yeah, I did forget about that Raiders game because of Villanueva. That's because we had a double agent on our team. We had a double agent. I'm telling you, that's the only reason why he signed with us.
You're not wrong.
He wanted to be with us.
That was Tomlin. Tomlin got one over on us there. I mean, 15-2. If we do that, that means our draft picks played well. Wiggins locked down. You got to think about that. Tez Walker, I think he has a good year if we're 15-2. And then Rosengard.
Exactly.
As well. I mean, if a Rosengard plays that well,
he was my number 1.
Okay.
Oh damn. Yeah. All right, Cupid. I think we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna let you go, bro. Thanks so much for coming up. We appreciate you. Definitely make sure you call back in the future, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Peace.
And that right there was the first Purple Rain podcast.
The first ever, Of course, we're gonna experience some technical difficulties here and there with it, of course, as we're piloting this new segment. But that's why we're doing it in the off season, right? So by the time the season kicks off, it's gonna be perfected. I mean, you guys are gonna be calling in on the daily or on the weekly, twice weekly, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So big shout out to Cupid for literally making history right there and being our very first ever guest as a live caller on the Purple Rain podcast. Okay, so Alex, there was something else I wanted to bring up to you. You mentioned it before the show. It's on the top of my mind.
UFC?
Yes.
UFC 302.
Thank you so much, bro. UFC 302 is this weekend. I'm excited for it. I think this is the best card since UFC 300, to be honest with you. There are a lot of good fights on this card, especially, of course, the main event, Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier. That is going to be an absolute banger. I made my prediction earlier in a YouTube short. If you didn't check that out, make sure you go look at that. I'll go ahead and give you my prediction here. I'm gonna go ahead and take Islam Makhachev. It's the popular prediction. It's the popular pick, but I'll give you the method of victory in the round as well. So I'm gonna go with a round 2 rear naked choke W for Islam Makhachev. I just think that Dustin. First of all, here's why I think it's gonna be round 2. Both of them have an average fight time of around 9 minutes and 40 seconds. It's very weird, but they both don't fight longer, than 10 minutes. It just doesn't happen, right? They get to it. They get to the action. But what I think is going to happen is, you're going to have Dustin trying to box him up, but just like everybody else who's fought Islam Makhachev, they're going to underestimate his striking. They're going to get caught. They're going to find themselves on the ground. He's going to take their back. And Islam Makhachev, he's probably got one of the strongest backs on earth, like back muscles wise and whatnot. And that's what you need to secure those takedowns and really wrestle. And I think that he just finds his back, chokes him out.
I think Makhachev, every time I watch him, he's damn near flawless. Damn near makes no mistakes. I really haven't seen him get pieced up that much, and he just kind of makes light work of anybody he fights. Although I was really impressed with Poirier's last dub, I didn't think he was going to win. I'd be dumb to disagree with you there. I do have Makhachev winning this. I actually have a round 3, him winning. I don't know the method, but round 2 sounds about right for him. He gets his guys out of there quickly. So, yeah. Boss says big UFC card. Big UFC card indeed.
Yeah. There's also Paulo Costa versus Sean Strickland on that card as well. That's going to be a really, really fun fight. I'm picking Paulo Costa to finish Sean Strickland in this one. I don't like Sean Strickland. It's not a secret.
Talk about it, please.
Saying that I'm not a big Sean Strickland fan. He's definitely like the definition of a tool. That's what that guy is. To be honest with you, I like to see him get his ass kicked. That's why I'm glad he's in the UFC. I'm glad he's a fighter. But I got Paulo Costa by TKO in the second round. I'm gonna go TKO in the second round for Paulo Costa.
Yeah, I want Paulo Costa to win. Every time I see Sean Strickland, it's never because of UFC. It's him saying some crazy stuff. He just went off on Tom Brady about that roast and everything. Just fighting YouTubers, YouTubers who obviously you're going to beat them up. There's really no point of you fighting them. But yeah, I would like to see Paulo Costa win this fight. So hopefully Sean Strickland goes down. Had that real great title reign after he beat Adesanya, real great. Now, hopefully takes another L.
Yeah, I mean, Dre saying here he needs those UFC parlays. I'm telling you, man, go ahead and take Paulo Costa by second round TKO and take Islam Makhachev by second round rear naked choke. I'm telling you, that's the way to go.
From Sutton, from the man himself. What other fights we got on the card? What else are we talking?
Let me actually pull that up. Let me pull up the card here so we can all see here. Give me a second. You have 302.
I've been living off that motorcycle accident way too long. Max Crosby trains with Strickland. Roosh agrees Makhachev about a dub. And where's this one at? Where are they fighting? In Vegas?
It's New Jersey. It's in New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah. A little bit of a different locale for a pay-per-view, and it is normally in Vegas, or they'll do it overseas, somewhere like Abu Dhabi. But here is the card. Pull it up on screen for us here. The card that we have for UFC 302. Islam Makhachev obviously headlining against Dustin Poirier with the lightweight strap on the line, and the co-main is Strickland facing off against Paulo Costa. And then you have your guy, Kevin Holland, facing off against Michael Oleszczuk. I don't even know how to pronounce that. I'm not even going to try. But this fight for Kevin Holland is very important. Let me tell you this, Alex, because I know you're a big fan of Kevin Holland, but his last showing against Michael Venom Page was painful to watch. I know it was painful for you. We texted about it after the fight, I think. But he's got to bounce back big in this one here. He's got to let his hands go. He's got to get back to talking shit in the octagon, and really just be free. Just be a free fighter. He looked too timid against Michael Venom Page, right? And a timid Kevin Holland is a losing Kevin Holland to me. So, but what are your thoughts?
You're 100% right. I think he's lost his last 2 fights as well. He's lost his last 2 fights. Lost to JDM and lost to Michael Venom Page. Maybe he finally realized fighting people with 3 names wasn't a smart idea. Took this one on short notice, and I know he's fighting at 185. And he's kind of been talking on his Instagram how, and on his Twitter, he's happy he can, be eating tacos. He doesn't have to worry about his weight, this and that. Yeah, but less talk and more show me in the octagon. I think he's going to be fine. 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 I think he's and I hope he shows me. I could really use the Kevin Holland win here because losing 3 straight is not a good look. Yeah, light bill will be on Kevin Holland. Don't let me down like you did last fight.
I mean, I can definitely say it's fun to bet a guy like Kevin Holland because when he wins, it's going to be in like fun fashion, and you bet on him, you win some money, so it's like a win-win there. And K-Dog brings up a very good point. He says MVP ain't no bitch though, and he's really not. No, Michael Venom Page is the real deal, and he just booked a fight against Ian Gary, and that's going to be on the Conor McGregor card coming up in July. So, that is going to be an absolute banger right there. What?
I'm the biggest Michael Venom Page fan now. I was saying I'm his biggest hater. No, I'm his biggest fan. Anything to knock Ian Gary out, would love for that to happen. And I'm forgetting that the next UFC 303 is Conor McGregor's fighting. Which is, we're getting it. We're getting Conor back in the octagon.
Finally, right after so long, we actually get Conor McGregor back against Michael Chandler, an opponent that Conor can actually beat, that Conor actually matches up well against. This is the first time that Conor has had an opponent that he's matched up well against since probably like Donald Cerrone. It was years ago, like before COVID years ago. So
it was.
Yeah. So
January 2020.
I really think. Yeah. With Conor McGregor against Michael Chandler, he's going to be able to kind of utilize some of that counter striking that he's so good at, and throughout his career. The question with Conor at this point is like, I don't even want to say the cliche like how hungry is he, you know what I mean? Since he's so rich, everybody says that, but like he has not fought in years. Like it's been so long since he fought. Mike Chandler is active as hell. I mean, Michael Chandler's probably had like 4 or 5 fights in the last 3 years or so. Probably like 4 if I had to guess. Don't fact check me on that, or maybe fact check me on that. Definitely fact check me on that. But no, Michael Chandler, he's a really good fighter, but he is kind of like a little like a ball of like power, right? Like he just likes to kind of lunge forward, throw big shots, and Conor McGregor is really good at kind of countering guys like that. I mean, he famously countered Jose Aldo for lunging in and trying to land a big shot, and he got knocked out. So we'll see what happens to that one. One more thing I wanted to bring up on this card, Alex. There's also on the prelims, watch out for let's see. I'll bring it up here. This Jailton Almeida fight versus Alexander Romanov, that one's going to be good. A heavyweight fight. Jailton Almeida is just coming off a knockout loss to Curtis Blades, so he's going to be trying to bounce back. He's really good, 20-3. I'm not his biggest fan, but he's really good. And then Romanov as well, 17-2. That's going to be a battle of the big boys right there. But then another fight that I'm looking at is this Philip Rowe versus Jake Matthews. Now, I actually know Philip Rowe in real life, so that's the reason why like I'm kind of I'm pumped for this one. Yeah, man. Actually, I partied with him in Orlando one night. It was actually really cool. We went like downtown and whatnot. He like took me and like my friends to my girlfriend and her brother to like this secret bar. It was like really nice. It was cool. He's a real nice guy. And he's in the UFC. I got to ask him questions about Dana White. He says he's assholes like any other boss. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool insight, right? But yeah, I'm excited to see him fight. He's coming off of a loss in his last fight, so he's got to bounce back in a big way. He is, I want to say he's the favorite in this one. So we'll see. I'm definitely betting the house on him. It is what it is, So watch out for those. And then I wanted to see real quick because you brought up 303. Let me see. Yeah, 303. This card. So you got Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, of course, is the main event. And then you've got, let me see, Jamal Hill was supposed to fight Khalil Roundtree, which would have been an absolute just like a barn burner right there. But Khalil Roundtree had to drop out. He accidentally took a banned substance that he didn't know was going into his body, and he got suspended. Yeah. So now Jamal Hill will be fighting Carlos Ulberg, who personally I don't really know too much about, but he is 11-1, and that is something to respect for sure. I don't know how many of those wins came in the UFC, but I know Jamal Hill is going to be trying to bounce back after that knockout loss at UFC 300 against Alex Pereira.
Yeah, that was bad. So I did pull up Michael Chandler's most recent fights. Last fight, November 12th, 2022. Lost to Dustin Poirier.
Oh, really?
May 7th, 2022. He beat Tony Ferguson, and then
Right.
November 6, 2021, lost to Justin Gaethje. And then before that, lost to Ali
Okay.
Vera, May 15, 2021.
So it was 4 fights. He's had 4 fights in the
Yeah.
last 3 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Michael Chandler, he's kind of been around, you know, and he was formerly known for Bellator, right? He was in Bellator before the UFC, and he was the champion there for a while, right? And came over to the UFC and had immediate success, kind of like Justin Gaethje did when he came over from World Series of Fighting. But we do have our first super chat donation. This one's coming from Asmodeus. What's going on, Asmodeus? Coming through with the 5-piece, dropping it in the chat. Says for your protein shake needs. Let me see here.
Nice.
We appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, King. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Alex.
Yes, son.
Was there anything that we missed Ravens-wise?
I think we got it all. No signings made. Kind of got all the news out the way. Talked about OTAs. Talked about press conferences. Talked about this and that. I think we got it all. I think we hit all of our bases. I think we just cashed the parlay, to be honest.
I think we did too. Let me hold on. Let me see. Make sure I got to bring my guy's stuff up on the screen. Can you guys see me?
Can you hear me? Frozen right now.
I'm frozen?
I can hear you. Yeah, you're frozen.
Yeah. Oh, crap. All right. Well, shoot. You know what? Alex, take us out. I'm going to refresh. I'll pop back in. Take us out.
I gotcha. Thank you for all you guys coming through to episode 242 of the Purple Rain podcast. Me and Sutton very much. Thank you all and appreciate y'all. And it was very nice. And shout out to Cupid for coming through on our first live call of the stream and first of many. I can't wait for this to happen during the season. Get your live takes, get your live reactions to, Ravens wins, hopefully. A lot more wins than losses. I know that one loss, we'll all be losing our heads. And it'll be a whole group therapy session. But as for now, hopefully it's all the positive things. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for my head to just get lost and just call for everybody to fire everybody. But actually, real quick, the Seahawks did mic up Mike McDonald for their OTAs. Don't watch it. It made me upset. I wish we still had him. I really do. I wish he was our head coach right now.
Me too.
Don't want to live in the past too much, but thank you all for coming through to episode 242 of the Purple Rain podcast. As always, stay positive, test negative.
And never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. It's been episode 242 of the Purple Rain podcast. We're going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.